to the program. Now, a legal action has been filed before the Federal High Court asking it to stop the party's acting national chairman, Omar Damagum, and other members of the PDP National Working Committee from further acting in their capacities following their alleged violation of the party's constitution. Former PDP governorship aspirant in Ogun State, Segun Showunmi, who filed a legal action, is asking the court to compel the Damagum-led NWC to hold a mandatory National Executive Council meeting of the party. In his supporting affidavit, Showunmi stated that since the party participated in the last governorship elections in Bayelsa, Kogi and Imo states, reports of the polls have not been presented to the party as required. He also added that elections are coming up in Edo and Ondo states, and the party needed to also plan and prepare ahead. Well, for more on this, I'm gladly being joined in the studio by the man who filed the lawsuit against the PDP's national hierarchy, Mr. Segun Showunmi. Thank you so much. So glad to see you this new year.
Sumner, happy new year, my man.
Yeah,
how are you doing?
You've been going on the tour of different parts of the country. This time around, we have you in the studio. Talk to us how aggrieved you feel about the happenings in the PDP and why you didn't explore the internal conflict resolution mechanisms of the party and you just decided to head to the courts.
Sumner, first of all, you know me on a personal level. And you know that I am not one not to follow the due process. I'm not personally upset with them, and there is no great advantage for me in this suit. Because it's in court, it's subject to this, so I will not go into it too much. All I will just say is that all Nigerians of goodwill who love democracy and love this country and even have some sentimental attachment to a party that is 25 years old, the oldest surviving political party in our country, in this republic, have all been disappointed with our post-election management, our actions around opposition and all that. And you know that I've never let down in my human job of standing firm and defending and supporting and even probably even taking the fight to the opposition. A leader is one who knows what is necessary per time. I wrote them a pre-trial notice to say all has been exhausted with people quarreling, campaigning, talking, desiring, wishing that this party calls its neck. You are all aware of our issues with some of our leaders who are now doing some form of sabbatical in the ruling party, Yuson Wike and all. You are aware of the fact that we've been in this challenge of party stability before the primaries, all through the campaigns, and it's, by February it will be like a whole year since the election, and it's not abating. The Damagum-led ESCO, acting anyway, because he didn't come to say he wanted to be national chairman. He was a child of necessity because of the issues with our last chairman, Yoshe Ayu. What would be the tolerable excuse for them not calling the highest decision-making organ of the party to come and weigh in on important issues? Part of it being, our law says that you must call our neck, according to Article 31, 2, 4, and 5 of the PDP Constitution and Section 81, 2 of the Electoral Act as amended, and even the 1999 Constitution. A political party is the creation of the law. When all is done and settled, it is still to the law that we must revert to. And this human responsibility I'm taking is actually born out of the fact that I do not understand how a 25-year-old institution, or anyone at that, will not get that we overburden the courts on things that ordinarily can be classified as pre-election or pre-election issues. That means the housekeeping issues of the party.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Improved Electoral Act 2022 has also said the National Working Committee, or the party at the center, has such powers to file and do so much, to such a point that even if another person wants to talk about internal issues, it becomes meddlesome interloping and they are not allowed. Shall we then be a political party who is seeing that the country itself is asking us to shape up in terms of our opposition responsibility? Who is seeing that even the high and mighty of our party are either cheerleaders of the ruling party or enablers of a one-party state potential tendencies? And who is saying that, for whatever reasons, difficult for us to understand, we're not even obeying our laws? So I decided that when I had listened to a lot of our members who were complaining and asking, why can't you call a neck? You are acting, are you going to act forever? Where do you get the authority to act? I thought, okay, enough. Let us take the case to court. And the case is now in court. And I'm quite convinced that it's a catch-22 situation for them if they are smart. They either call a neck or be restrained perpetually from acting. And I will be happy and pleased with myself and sleep well at night, knowing fully well that I have done everything humanly possible to help them to socially re-engineer themselves, to understand that the political party is the first safeguard in democracy. Therefore, before we overburden the court with issues that don't matter, before we create a chaotic environment around the elections and politics, let the parties clean up their own act. And if the parties don't clean up their own act, what right have they then got to say that they can clean up the act of the country?
All right. I mean, I've allowed you to actually lay the
yes, that was what you wanted to hear.
Because this issue is in court, and I just want to
I didn't want us to go too much into it. Yes.
So let's talk about the sidelines of it, and that's why I started by asking you why you didn't follow through the internal mechanisms.
I did.
Yeah. So there's this talk here and there that, I mean, some of you actually out to do a yeoman's job for the ruling party, the APC, and some of you are already on your way out of the PDP.
Okay, let's start.
Why is this actually coming up? And it looks like we hear that this division is being sponsored to make the PDP look like it's divided, just like some particular leaders of the party who are neither in APC or PDP want to make the party look divided.
Some now, after General Sani Abacha of Blessed Memory died, Absalam, who is still much around with us, became the president, and a transition timetable was run in this country. Ab initio from the beginning, I've always said we must try to ensure that we have a national party so that we can manage the national cleavage of our country and be an inclusive. That's the reason why I'm in PDP, and I've been there since the beginning. Even when I don't have a title and all that, it didn't matter to me. I have been there. When those that I looked up to left the party to other party, I've been there. When some of them go and come, I've been here. When we lost an election in 2015 and the media houses would call people, nobody wanted to come up, I was here. And I've been here ever since, never complaining about any personal hurt and all that. Don't you think that the gravitas and the ranking and the energy and the interest and the love of this party should make me desire that they could do the right thing for themselves? If they call a NEC, what's the NEC going to do? He has 4 options. The NEC can come and say, okay, the highest ruling organ of the party, we are endorsing and giving a vote of confidence to the Damagun-led ESCO. He will then become legitimate. So all the argument, the noise, and the anger will go. People will line there. That's one option. The NEC can say, okay, we don't have a vote of confidence on you. We want to have a date where you're going to have to come and do a proper new ESCO. That will be determined. The roadmap for that will be determined. They could also say, we're not going to do anything. We're going to pretend as if we are above the law. Then they will have to spell the consequences of what the courts will say. There's none of this that directly profits me. And I am, for the record, I'm not the kind of person who wishes to go to APC that needs to take permission from them.
All right.
I'm the type of human being, if I so make up my mind that I'm done with this party after 25 years, I'll do a very massive international press conference and tell them the reason why I'm out.
All right.
I am that way designed. And also for the record, because I have spoken for Atiku Abubakar in the past, but I've also been very balanced. I need to say and state clearly that I'm not even sure that Atiku himself is finding out about these matters other than the way others are finding out.
All right.
Because there's always a tendency for them to think that maybe if it's not,
yeah, I mean that's what we've been having.
If it's not the ruling party,
the headlines are saying that Atiku's former aide.
Yeah, well, it's your asset sometimes in politics is your liability. It's my asset that yes, I'm an Atiku person. I'm just a loyal person to a cause, but it's also my liability. Every time I step forward, they will forget that I tried to be governor and I took them, tried to be governor. They forget that I've been here forever and ever, even Atiku left and came back. How would you now say that I don't have the right to say this is what is best for the party? Especially when the direct beneficiary of what I'm saying is the party itself, the democracy, and the entire country.
Now, Segun Showunmi, let's take a look at what's happening at the PDP right now. It looks like it's been critically divided over time. There are others who are saying that somebody like Umar Damagum and PDP National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu, they are deliberately being kept by someone out there, and that this neck is deliberately not being called upon because there's somebody who is actually profiting from this particular arrangement, while the other side who brought Yocha Ayu are saying that, look, I mean, a lot of things have happened, the elections are over, we thought certain things would have happened, but we're also not satisfied. Can we say that in all of this, that party members like you are genuinely calling for some sort of reconciliation among the leadership of the PDP?
I could give
NEC to NWC.
I could give the PDP a roadmap to solving of their problems. First, they need to call the highest decision-making organ, which is the NEC. The NEC needs to ask certain questions of the people that are the handlers. Then they need to know and tell themselves that the political party is not a platform that favors one side at the expense of the other. Therefore, they will need some kind of reconciliation, rapprochement among themselves if they can still beg themselves and agree. They will need to design a clever reformation framework that allows a larger percentage of the Nigerian people to see that they're cleaning up from within. They will need to redesign and remarket what is the differentiating ideological underpinnings of their party. Why would people say we can't even tell the difference between your party and the next party? It means that they have not really remarketed or relaunched or repropelled what makes their party, our party, different. They will also need to understand that you cannot lose 3 national elections back to back and then tell yourself that this joke that they are running now, they are not doing opposition well, according to the belief of the Nigerians. There's no gravitas, there's no grit, there's no passion in the responsibility of opposition work. We've been here for a while. We were in government and we saw another party in opposition. And we've been in opposition for some time now. We've lost 3 elections. So what are we talking about? You think we need to smell the coffee? More than that, they have created a political party that has become so clay-footed that it doesn't even have a power to say this is the line that high-ranking members will not cross. You are well aware that a lot of people in the country have wondered for ourselves why it appears as if some people are untouchable here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about people like Nyesom Wike, who happens to be in the PDP, and some people say he's also in the APC, still tilly or preparing to head to the APC.
Can you see that? And
some people also say that from your body language and with your recent visit to former President Muhammadu Buhari, that looks like you're on your way, including your statement recently during a chat online where you were saying, and I'm quoting you now, that am I going to criticize President Bola Tinubu more than the one I've been criticizing him? Am I going to fight him more than the one I've been fighting him? The person that was president in 1999, is he still a member of their party today? The one that said he didn't have shoes, Jonathan, that we gave him presidency 2 times. Because of Jonathan, we became a party that everybody was abusing. He's still not standing with the party today. I am still here standing and shouting if they don't want us to reform the party. Please, Boala, keep space for me. I am coming.
Very good.
So that means you're on your way to the
My
APC,
friend Daniel Boala has always been an APC man. And I know the type of conversation that took place between me and him and a few others, even to bring him here. And I know how much he agonized at their lack of reform until he left. And I was on a space with young people where I had spent about 3 hours defending the party and speaking for the party and explaining to young people why certain things are. And towards the end of the space, young people started saying, Segun, you will like what you're saying. This is the kind of person we want. And then someone then asked, what if after all this, they don't reform? And they don't let you, because people want me to be national chairman, be national chairman. And then I then reverted to say that, one, I will see who they give the responsibility to, in case I'm not national chairman. If he has the desire to take on ideas or reform the party in a way that can work, failing which, I would then have to imagine that they're going to end up, we're going to lose again in 2027. And that would then move it to 2031. And that our rivals, the APC, will move the power to the north. And I listed quality men that can be president in their stable. And then I asked, am I supposed to add 7 years plus whatever number of years? And then in a sarcastic manner, I said, voila, keep straight from me. And when I realized that it was trending other than the intention, I did a dance where I said, shall Daniel, my friend Boala, take me to Ashadu Bola Tinubu, whom I even called Akonyomolodo. That's our very deep Yoruba name. That will he be the one to take me to Ashadu if I so desire and want? A man I've known since 1993. Sambo, I am a man who owns everything I say, even in my sleep.
Yeah, so why did you visit former President?
Thank you very much. I visited.
Because with this, people are already drawing
they are
the
linking
pattern.
it. Okay, it's good. What had happened, it was just coincidence. I had first of all met with Peter Obi, the the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. And we had some strong conversation. And I had said to him,
yeah, I saw that picture.
I am getting nervous for our country because 3 brothers collected the Article of Independence. Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Awolowo, and a few others. And we ran the country on a tripod. And I'm noticing that the Southeasterners are beginning to really be unpersuaded on why we'll be passing the baton between the Yorubas, the Southwest, and the Northwest. How are we going to manage this? And I then felt, since the president was no longer there in charge, I could go to him and ask him that question, one. Number 2, I had noticed that we had produced a northeastern person in Atiku Abubakar back to back. And I had noticed that the numbers from the northwest did not come in an avalanche the way the numbers in the northeast usually back a northwestern man. And then I wanted to ask him that, are you not nervous that you're going to create a splitting of the north? Because shall the people in the northeast continue to stand by you people in the northwest whenever the people in the northwest won't stand by them, And then I asked him a third question. Your Excellency, thank you for the work you've done so far. I know a few things you've done well. But are you not concerned about the fact that you have come in, you have gone out? You chased Metasine, you did all of that. And yet, the insurgency is not going. People are still killing people. Northerners are dying. Villages are being ransacked. It's almost everywhere now. That was the quality of conversation I had with him. And shall I then be afraid to go and visit the former president in this country when I did not visit him while he was in office? And shall I then care if people are making insinuations?
Because the conversation is that some of you who are aides of Atiku are already leaving him in the lurch. And it looks like with the exit of Boala, and then looks like you're already on your way and others.
I used to tell, whenever myself and Waziri Atiku Abubakar, when we're in the house and behind closed door, and maybe he has not seen me for like a week or two and I'm busy, or maybe a month, and when I see him and say, Ashek, where have you been? And I sense that he's thinking that, I used to tell him that, Waziri, I want you to be president more than you want to be president. So when you don't see me, just know that I'm working very hard to make sure that, because I believe in your vision and you can happen. I'm not the type of person who has to apologize if I want to leave. I have the access, the capacity, the God-endowed skills to leave if I want to leave. So far from that, that's not it. I'd stopped looking backward. I was looking forward. And I didn't want us to keep our Southeastern brothers unhappy. And I knew that no section can win on there. We can increase the numbers. And I know that whether you like it or not, I repeat, General President Muhammadu Buhari, in my opinion, is the wali of this country.
Yeah,
reason being that while others can show you universities, can show you the corruption that they are enjoying by themselves, at best you can only tell us people who worked for him stole.
Yeah,
and if he is able to be ramrod straight over the years and is able to keep himself without unnecessary excess and gluttonous covetousness, show me a man that is better than him among you.
Well,
and therefore, that was why I visited him. And I tell you something, Sambo.
Yeah.
When I met the former president, I was so overwhelmed by his humility and the kinds of conversation we had that I said to my friends who followed me that if I visit this man 2 more times, I will likely kill somebody who abused him beside me.
Well,
his magnetism.
We're in a democracy and people are allowed to actually have their views.
His magnetism was that well.
Yeah, but so, there are people who are dialectically opposed to everything Buhari did in the last 8 years.
Did I tell you that?
And then, of course, there's nothing you can do to actually stop them from exercising their rights.
What I see with this country is that eventually we have created a nation where we always hate the person in charge today so that we can start loving him tomorrow. When Obasanjo was in charge, we hated him so much. After he left, we started saying he's the best before him. When Yar'Adua was here and we hated him, hated Turai so much. When he died, we now said he's the best we could have had. When Jonathan was here, same thing. Yes, Buhari has been here. Ask yourself, since you've been in this country, has anybody ever tried to do a social safety net for the poor?
Well, that social safety net,
yeah, but is the president going
which emanated from 2015, is now being embroiled in corruption. And a minister under his former government has been accused of embezzlement, including a serving minister in Tinubu's government.
You can blame President Muhammadu Buhari for not being aware of the kinds of lansani that is some of his supporters.
How can you say a president cannot be aware when he receives security reports? Can former President Buhari ostracize himself from his ministers?
If you ever come close to a leader, you will understand that leaders are like prisoners in a golden cage. People come before a leader and just tell him what they want to, especially the Nigerian presidency. The level of psychophancy, the genuflexing they throw around them can sometimes blindsight them. It is not the responsibility of Muhammadu Buhari to audit his administration. It is the responsibility of the person in charge to audit it. But in terms of, if people abuse Buhari too much, I will get mad with you.
Well, the reality is that, like I said earlier,
give yourself 2 more years. The one that is in charge now.
I mean, it's normal. After every 2 years, 3 years, Nigerians will start singing a different song. But
look, if the party that is in charge now, the APC, must carry the burden of the Buhari era and that of about the Bola Tinubu era. I have not gone to Buhari while he was there. I could have, even to visit him. My brother, Senator Ibikola Amosu, is one of the closest persons to him. Yeah. I could have followed him to visit him, but I'm not that way inclined. I waited until I was done. And let me tell you the tipping point for me. I'd gone to visit my leader, my friend, the president of Brazil, and I agonizingly asked him, you people can feed yourselves. Why can't we feed ourselves? And then he sent me to his Minister of Agric. And I took some people there. I always like to have witnesses. So when the Minister of Agric was speaking and they were translating to me, I started hearing things like school feeding program, and I was just saying, wow, this is what Buhari was trying to do for us here. And when I left, I said, these things that this man is telling us is making them able to feed themselves. Is that not the same thing that this man was trying to do for us? It was from that minute I started feeling that I needed to go and engage. And I didn't even engage him on his government.
Okay.
I only engaged him on the future.
On a personal level.
On the future. You can't have the Southeasterners feeling this way and not have a conversation of how do we solve that problem. I don't see how we can solve that problem unless we come together, conspire, and give them power. Because when the Yorubas were feeling that way, after June 12, we conspired and gave Obasanjo power. So I thought about that.
All right.
I didn't.
And what was his response, considering that people from the Southeast always have this feeling that Buhari doesn't like that region so much?
Yourself and your friends on social media, especially even the obedience, were doing friendly fire. You know, when you are firing all over the place, you don't even know
when you say my friends.
No,
I am a journalist.
I know. What I'm saying is that because your friend, the obedience, were doing friendly fires, and I was even getting attacked for going to look for how we can negotiate and speak to people to consider expanding the space. I then thought, okay, I'm not going to share with them the answers he gave me. Go and find your own appointment with him. If you can dare come before him. But I can tell you something for free. He gave me 1 or 2 pointers as to where we could look and how we could combine if we wanted to really make that happen. But since they are very rude and they like to abuse people, they can stumble up by themselves.
The obedience are capable of answering you by themselves.
No,
I wouldn't be answering you on that here.
I am obediently articulated with. That was how we created the name.
Yeah. I mean,
so if they
2019 to 2023.
What I'm saying is that even the form he bought, I was the one who went to tell Atiku Abubakar that he's going to buy the form. I know how much I struggled.
All right,
so bottom line, that is
that
it's very hard doing right, equity, justice, and fairness, and people must not be too angry not to see that perhaps people are only trying to help.
Yeah, but Segun Showunmi, you and I know that in Nigerian political circles, when someone sees your pattern and your movements, the next thing they will ask
so what will you guys do if I go
who's bankrolling you? So, and I'm asking you now, who's bankrolling you on these trips?
Someone.
Are you doing a yeoman's job for someone?
I have been so lucky that I don't have the burden that they all have. If not, I would have been totally bankrupted. I have a wife who is a senior level civil servant who can feed us and probably even feed me. I have twin boys who live in Europe. They don't need me for much. I have a dad that can really, really feed. He can feed himself. He doesn't even need me for anything. If I give my dad money, my dad used to tell me that you are giving me money because you know you can afford it, and I'm taking it because you know I don't need it.
So you are not on a reconciliation move for someone, or someone is sending you to actually work.
You know, if you want to create the Nigeria of the future, the first thing you have to do is that you have to go to the touch point of where the other Nigerians are, and then you have to hope that we can have a consensus and an agreement on how can our country make progress before you even start thinking of who will wear the garments. And if people are thinking it is Atiku Abubakar, I've said to Waziri Atiku Abubakar in clear terms, sir, you will tell me if you are done or you are not done. And
because now, there are talks of the formation of a mega party. And some people are thinking maybe it's Atiku that's asking you to go around and build some sort of consensus towards a mega party that will be built. And
I have even argued.
There will be some sharing of power.
I've argued vehemently that process and the thought patterns moving it is extremely lazy.
You don't think the Labour Party, PDP and NNPP can come together?
I think it's extremely lazy because I've always said you're trying to beat the APC by a strategy in their playbook that they invented. And they have won 3 elections that way. Shall you then come and try and just, in a lazy manner, beat them with what they know? I feel that that's not the right way. I feel that the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria still has enough, how be it subtle, almost becoming cool, love across the country. And that if we could reform ourselves and people could see the effort at reformation and we could forgive ourselves and we could apologize to each other and we could call a NEC meeting and the leaders of the party can say, okay, this is the future. I have a feeling that if we work very hard for 1 year, we can beat the APC easy. Why? The Southwestern President, Abraham Ashimu, got 8-point-something million votes. Easily, Atiku they allocated 6-point-something for him. Peter Obi.
What do you mean allocation?
Yeah, because when your election process is not free, fair, and transparent, you cannot tell those you have called the losers as people who you expect to accept the corruption of the process. So I say he won, and I say they allocated for us because we believe that our numbers were kind of taken back. We can't prove it, that's fine, that's done. And then you have a Peter Obi who just 30 minutes ago was a vice presidential candidate. So I do not know whether you're going to have a perfect fix of both of them, but I know for sure that we have tried, one general had tried the one-party state concept in this country. His name was General Sani Abacha. He registered 5 parties, agreed that they were all he's going to be their candidate. Well, and we know how that ended.
I remember, I think it was Dembolage that said 5 leprous fingers.
5 fingers
of a leprous hand. I mean,
and we know how that ended. So I'm saying very firm and very clear to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Yoruba man, my brother, my father, whatever, that don't you even dare imagine that this country can run on an idea of state capture to the extent of a one-party state.
Very quickly, do you subscribe to the views that Nyesom Wike is being sent to actually balkanize the PDP ahead of 2027?
No.
And that's why he doesn't want to fully pull out of the PDP?
I think that everybody knows on the inside and the outside that I feel that the Nyesom Wike situation was a mismanaged reconciliation process.
So why is it difficult to actually sanction him by the PDP?
Well, I think that those who are the Damagun and his friends who are, and I'm told that, what's his name? The National Organizing Secretary is Bature. What's his name? Omar Bature. He's threatening fire and brainstorm against me. Please, Omar Bature, I plan to report you to the IG of Police and DSS. If as small as a finger or a nail of mine breaks, you're going to be held responsible.
Well, we live in a
democracy. The point I make, if it does anything,
and this is just an allegation.
Yeah, I will report him formally. I will report him formally. Okay. But I'm just saying that himself and his caricature gang cannot expect that those of us that have been here for 25 years will not have a view as to what we want for our party.
Yeah, but they also blame your principal, Atiku Abubakar, for being chaotic about what's going on in the PDP. Because he brought Iyorchia Ayu with the support of Wike initially to reach some sort of compromise when Wike brought Iyorchia Ayu.
Ask me a question, let me answer.
And so it was difficult for him to actually ask Iyorchia Ayu to step down at the last minute. And because of that caused the PDP the election.
Do you know how that comment even makes you feel?
No, because people are still saying that if Iyorchia Ayu had been asked by Atiku to step down, maybe the PDP would have won the election. Okay. But he was too emotionally attached to Iyorchia Ayu.
Listen.
Very quickly.
You assume that democracy includes the fact that you can boss people who have been given rights around. We have not even been able to get acting national chairman to call NEC. We are having to go to court to force that. How would Atiku have told Iyorchia Ayu, whom, if you know, former Senate President, former this, former that, a Marxist of very high standing, just telling God resign?
No, it's through persuasion. I mean, he belongs to his political class, political camp. Because of this same Atiku Abubakar, Iyorchia Ayu was almost charged with treason by Obasanjo.
Iyorchia Ayu was produced by Governor Tom and his friends. And what the issue was that Atiku said, it's very undemocratic for you to blame me for things that only an individual can exercise that free will. You would have required him to resign. Was Atiku to put a gun on his head to force that?
No, through political persuasion, that's what they are saying.
Those who created Secondus-led ESCO and were not satisfied with it are the same one who created Ayu-led ESCO and not satisfied.
Yes, and look, until Atiku got close to him.
My friend, no. Atiku, look. Oh, God. You are going to make me defend Atiku now, and then you will come and say Atiku is the one sending me. Anyway, that was not the case. Right. Those of them that are in the NWC should know and know quickly. It takes a lot to be able to strengthen a political party to wear the jersey forever. The thing that is going on in Edo, where landlords are now being told to become tenants, it will be very telling. But by the grace of God, we're in court now. We hope that very quickly expeditious adjudication will happen, and then we'll be able to see whether the party is able to bring itself back. And
this still points down to what people are saying, that your former principal, Atiku Abubakar, is not helping the party. Because once he loses the election, he runs off, leaves the party until he's willing to come and get the ticket again. Isn't he, as an opposition leader, supposed to help reform his party?
Those of them that are at home, what are they even doing? Before you quarrel with the one that is not out. And Atiku is someone who has some responsibilities with his international engagements and
Yeah,
work.
and always going to Dubai, according to his traducers.
A man will live where he can
PDP.
afford to have. Dubai, for your information, is an international finance market where people who do a lot of big responsibilities in other countries, who have work to do in Japan and all that, it's not a bad hop for them. At least it's more friendly than some of the European countries.
All right.
Stop blaming Atiku for what they should take responsibility for. What I have taken them to court for is to ask them to do what the sections of our constitution and our bylaws, the Electoral Act demand. I've not asked them to go and give me the party. I've only said, call a NEC meeting, which is the highest organ of the party, and let the highest organ of the party take some far-reaching decision. It's possible for them to get to the NEC, and the NEC will say, we pass vote of confidence on Damagun. At least it will end that phase. And then people can live with the government of the PDP of the day. And if it's something that people can be happy with, fine. But if they do a survey, a greater number of their citizens and members of their party and even ordinary bystanders in Nigeria expect the PDP to shape up. And if they cannot shape up by themselves, some of us have a duty to say, let's go to court and test it.
All right. You keep mentioning members of their party, but we
Our
must,
party.
thank you
You know, it's
so
like
much.
me to talk like that. It's called an outer-body experience.
Segun Showunmi is a former governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic
Is
Party.
our time gone?
Yeah, in Ogun State. And of course, we must thank you so much for having some time to actually come. I don't want to talk about the local politics of Ogun because
No, we're good.
Yeah, I mean,
We won that election, we just lost it.
And all
You
of
see,
that.
the court is not interested in
yeah,
the truth.
so, but
The court is not interested in the truth. The court is interested in
you may
technicality.
have to face a polling talent issue if you continue on that
No,
route.
I just said, look, if they are interested in the
Social
truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, they will see.
All
They
right.
could have asked for a rerun.
I don't want you to have
But
to...
we are happy with the judgment. We accepted it. We've congratulated them. Governor Dakwa Abiodun of Ogun State, congratulations. Get to work, fix our state.
All right. I like that. I mean, that makes it very good. It shows some sort of sportsmanship. And that's what we encourage. All right. We must thank you so much, Segun Showunmi, a former governorship aspirant of the PDP.
My man. It's nice to see you.
In Ogun State. And then, of course, a political ally of Atiku Abubakar, former vice president
of political ally of Wike, a political ally of Atiku, a political ally of Jonathan,
all
a
right.
political ally of all of them.
All right. I just hope I don't see you on the network news maybe a few days from now joining the APC. But we must thank you so much for joining us.
You want to tie me down and say
on Arise Prime Time.